Jamie and I talked about we have to have these discussions because there's too much of the history
Yes.
of coffee that nobody talks about, right? And
Yeah.
all these people writing about coffee, they don't understand simple things, right? About how things got started. And
It got better. During the time it got much better,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem is that there's so much.
But still a lot of bad coffee around.
Yeah, a lot of bad coffee. But that's the thing is we have to decide where we're going to go, right? But before we can decide where we're going to go, we have to know where we came from.
That's right.
And that's what's happening with all these guys, all these new people in coffee. They don't
But
know
they
where
try
came from.
something. It's like it's a trend,
Yeah.
The trend is like waves. So one day people that decide that they want acidity, the other day they don't know. They really, I know the era when 5 years ago, when everybody insisted to have acidity coffee. I know it was the wrong way.
Right.
It was the wrong way. The coffee was under roasted.
Right.
Was sour.
Right.
Right. But now people they learn about it. They get much better, but still is a long way to go for some people.
Yeah. Well, even today, there's all this suddenly super automatic is coming back into play.
Yeah, I think something super automatic. I think I don't think it's a solution for the consumer because it's a consistent. But I don't like it,
No.
to be brewed and super automatic. I want to still to have the barista touch.
Yeah.
Well,
again, we always talk about in our class that super automatic is like you play guitar.
Yeah.
You're very good.
Yeah.
But I say to you, hey.
Let's play the Spanish guitar.
You're playing Spanish guitar, and I say you're really good, but your guitar's out of tune.
Yeah.
And then you listen to it and you say, that was good enough.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the
and
problem.
everyone's saying, sounds okay.
Yeah.
Sounds okay. I say, no, it sounds more like a sitar, not a guitar, right?
It's people that compromise. They think it's good enough.
Yeah. And to me, that's a problem. Our movement, if you still believe in third wave movement or the artisan movement, is never good enough. That's actually that's what actually the slogan is. It's never good enough. In other words, the shot I just made, I can do better.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. So many things involved. The roasting, the profile, the roasting, the grinds, the stability, the temperature. It's so many factors,
Well, that's part of the problem. Like you say grind, right? So grind right now, I think people's understanding of what makes a good grinder is still in mystery. People still don't know.
But the grinder, but I have an experience in grinding. When the meat came out,
Right.
I try. I grind about 10 pounds of coffee, and there was a discrepancy when the grinder was cold.
Yeah.
When it was mid-range, when it was warm.
So this was after 2007. After 2007, they did the grinder testing here on Granville Island in WBC.
No, that's a tested this one and our distribution in Ferndale.
In Ferndale, but this was after the 2000.
After that,
the 2000.
Surprised that the discrepancy was from cold to warm was 30 to 40% difference. Was way too high
in quantity.
In quantity.
Oh, so in dose. So there was
in dose.
30. Wow. 30
because and then we let the test of the grinds to and the grinds was the same, so it was no difference.
So the grinds were the same in terms of size.
Size, it was the same. Once he changed the volume. So then volume, then I figure out to stabilize. I put a heater in the grinder.
Okay, so you decided to heat it. Why did you decide to heat it?
To stabilize, because I find that it was not expansion. Because I know it was not expansion. It has to do with would there be expansion? Would the grinds would be different?
Okay.
So temperature wasn't affecting the grind.
Temperature stability. Soon I put a heater to stabilize the burst. The grinds, the volume will stabilize. So what they say, remember the old days? That is to every grinder. Remember the old days, after 1 hour, everybody adjusting the grinder, figure out the humidity, the expansion was not.
It was not.
Usually when the grinder when the brewers they're warm,
Yes.
they grab more coffee.
So they grab more coffee.
They grab more coffee.
Okay. So when the birds are warmer, they grab more coffee.
So you have to stabilize. You still create a work environment to be stabilized. Because after 1 hour, when more you using the birds, so the birds they get warm, so
Yeah.
they be more consistent. So you have to simulate a work environment.
Right. So when the grinder is constantly working, it stabilizes at a hot temperature. Right?
Correct. Yes.
Right.
And the dosing would be the same.
Right. And the dose will be the same, and the particle size, like you
Yeah.
said,
But when you start a cool grinder,
cold grinder
you start, but the more you use it, the volume will increase.
will increase as the burst heating up.
Because it's grabbing more coffee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's like a slow tire. A slow tire when when you get warmer, get grab to
Better
the slow.
better grip with more heat.
You get it-
Yeah, because you've been driving further.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's
So that's why the
unbelievable.
race car drivers, they keep the tires.
The tires are
heated.
giving because the stabilizing coffee, and it doesn't matter what the coffee it requires stability.
Right.
It doesn't matter you brewing, you roasting. You want to be a good environment.
So let me summarize then. So after 2007 World Barista testing here
Yes.
in Vancouver on
Yes.
Vancouver Island,
Yes.
I remember that's when I first saw the Mythos grinder.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to everyone, I was so excited. Look at this grinder.
No, the design is perfect,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
need some changes.
Yeah.
And we find out, personally, I was surprised. More I use the grinder, and the more the grinder was working, the volume was increasing.
Right.
And that's it. It's not good.
So this is in Ferndale,
In Ferndale, yeah.
Washington,
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
Seminole
at the
Distribution.
I said, that's too much. 40%.
Right. So who was there with you?
Was it Roberto?
Roberto was
Yeah,
there. Roberto
yeah.
Brasciani.
Yeah,
and
Roberto
who else?
Brasciani was there.
Who else?
It was Ryan Kleinman.
Oh, Ryan Klein. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan actually done a very good job by developing a clump crusher.
Oh, Ryan developed the clump crusher.
Yeah, it was a good job for him because the way he dispensed the coffee was excellent. No cramping, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We should talk to Ron. Where did he get that idea from? The clump crusher.
The clump crusher, because we found several times the coffee. Originally, when they came, was there were some fingers. And there
Oh yeah, fingers. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. It's mylar fingers.
There were fingers, but the coffee sometimes
And it would bend the
they would
fingers. I
bend the
remember.
fingers. The coffee was all over the place.
Yeah.
By putting a clump crusher, and he had to consider the coffee was more. Was it coming out?
Next time you see Ryan, you have to ask him what inspired to make that clump crusher out of.
Yeah, I will. I will ask
Yeah.
him. Actually, done a very good job.
No, it's a very good job because
Yeah.
I remember before
But
we used to call those fingers as
Yeah, but
densifiers.
that was not very good.
No, it's densifier. That's what they
Yeah,
said. If
yeah.
you didn't have it, then the coffee would fly out,
It would fly out.
and then it would separate the
Yeah,
fines.
but it was not
right?
consistent. But
Yeah.
with the clump crusher,
It mix it together.
It mixed together. It does a fantastic job.
Right. So sort of like the one good thing about dosing grinder, these dosing grinders,
Yes.
was that it actually mixed the coffee, right? It kind of broke up the clumps somewhat,
They did,
but not as good as the clump crusher.
they did. You know what I'm saying? In your country, they use it because most of the dosage, one pull was 1 shot, 2 pull, 2 shot.
Yeah, right.
It was like
Only the third wave barista started doing just
no, but
one shot.
several because they want fresh coffee.
Yeah.
When in Italy, 1 pull because the
For a single, right?
what's the
Oh yeah, you can adjust the
it was a full. So it has to be full.
right.
So 1 pull, 1 shot, 2 pull, 2 shot.
Right.
But here they do because they grind. I said they grind. They take the coffee out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it won't come out. Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be not
Yeah.
consistent.
So I always thought it would mix the coffee, right?
It will mix the coffee. It really does. But also they use it for dosage.
So 2007,
Yes.
we have WBC test, right?
Yes.
And the Mythos made its first appearance to me. That's the first time I saw it.
Yes.
It was submitted for possibly being the competition grinder.
Not really.
But I remember they pulled it.
No, not really. It was not. We never applied for the competition.
Yeah.
But this year,
Yeah.
it's
going to be the
it's going to be the WBC
WBC
grinder.
grinder. Yeah. So when I first saw it in 2007, I thought it was really important because now we have burrs that are almost vertical versus horizontal.
Yeah, because the advantage is it's in a hold back. It's always
Yeah, we use gravity.
it's
Right?
gravity, and the burrs is basic attached to the spout.
Right.
It's no chamber.
So,
So
it's a small path.
it's
very
very
short path.
smell retaining coffee.
Right. And so I thought, for that reason alone, I thought, wow, this is an important grinder.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Retaining is the best coffee, the best grinder
For retention.
for retention. You know?
But then, like I said, it wasn't perfect. So that's why you took it back to Ferndale.
We improved. We improved. A lot of people in the beginning,
The clumping.
No, the clamping. Yeah, the clamping. Yeah.
They didn't like it, and also it sprayed.
It's sprayed. You know,
And then all the fines went further. I think the complaint I remember at the testing was all the fines went
the
to
separation.
the handle.
Yes, and that is
And the coarse coffee was on the opposite
side.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so then on a naked portafilter, they saw the extraction and said it keeps going towards away from the handle.
But the
wasn't censored.
basically you have to take the coffee and mix
And
it.
mix it,
And
right?
mix it. Yeah.
And so you guys took it back to Ferndale to play with, and Ryan creates the clump crusher
Yes.
to solve that problem of the grind
Correct.
separating.
Yes, you've done a fantastic job.
So it's like separating wheat from chaff, right? When you're on the farm, you throw it up in the air, the wind blows the chaff away, and the wheat falls here.
That's what happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the clump crusher solves that, but then you still notice a problem that the dose changes.
No,
the dose first?
the dose will be done. We changed it before.
Okay, change that first. Okay.
They changed the dose will be changed before.
Okay, so you didn't even know that was a problem before that. You just started using it and said, "Why is it so inconsistent?"
Yeah, because that was inconsistent because we tested, and believe it or not, when the grinder was cold, like I said before, and it was hot, the coffee the discrepancy was 30 to 40%.
30 to 40%.
That's quite bad.
Between cold burrs and hot burrs. Okay. So then you decided to put in
an element inside to simulate a work environment.
Right.
So soon as we put this, the dose is stabilized.
Right. And then subsequently, then the clump crusher was created to help that too. But then Simonelli took your finding, right? Your heating the burrs,
yes.
And then they sent it to university to test.
No, but originally everybody was against it. No,
Because the heat.
The heat, they know what I'm saying. So what I say, what you do, the barista when they brew coffee, they change the grinder every time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
Okay. But then eventually, didn't they test it for olfactory to see if
it was not.
So that was at university, right?
Yes, the test
in southern Italy, I think.
No, it was in not in southern. It was in middle Italy, in Tolentino.
Okay.
Tolentino. Okay, so they took it under university lab conditions.
Yes, it was
to see if the small heat that you're applying would have
was not interfere. What you do is every grinder works. When a coffee shop is busy, the grinder, what you simulate the work environment.
Yeah, so everything is hot.
Everything is warm.
Yeah.
So, but what you do, you stabilize.
Yeah.
You stabilize.
Just to remove the fluctuation.
They fluctuate, they up and down, they changing the dose. Because like before, everybody after an hour you keep adjusting the grinder.
Yeah.
And they think because the dose is changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The humidity in the
but
room
they say
changed,
humidity expansion.
Yeah.
But it was not.
I remember I was head judge had all these complaints, right?
Yeah.
That guy opened up the door during my introduction.
No,
and that changed my grind.
It's the simple things. Their burrs, when they get warm, they grab more coffee.
Yeah.
It was not. It's not.
Yeah. But I guess the key was, though, like you say, is that you found that the heat, heating the burrs, minimized that, and then the other research that they did to find out that the mild heat that you're applying, what is it, between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius or something like that?
No, it's about 28 to 30 degrees.
Okay, so it's not very hot.
Not very hot. No.
I mean, I always tell people that this feels like a warm puppy.
No. It's not. Something, but at least it helps. The environment. To be consistent.
Right. And then plus with the university testing it to.
But the element switches off when the grinder is working. The heat is no longer there.
Right.
switches
It shuts
automatic.
it
Switch
automatically
automatically
switch off.
switches
So
off.
that's the Mythos 1.
Yeah.
As soon as you turn on the grinder, the element's off, right? Because it doesn't need any more heat.
No, you keep it when the grinder is off. It will maintain the head warm.
Right.
But when the
The
motor grinder works and you use a lot of coffee, the electric
Switches
element,
off.
it switches off
Right.
to maintain the temperature, like
Yeah, because it's set to 35
set
degrees.
set to the temperature.
Yeah.
That's
So this is like 2008, 2009.
Yes.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I remember then trying the next generation of one with the modifications and thinking, wow, this is fantastic. Right? This is
Yeah.
the best grinder. I remember it took until 2013 before the first Top Shop in Canada used one.
Yeah, but the grinder, it's one of the most essential. You don't have a good grinder. It doesn't matter. It's very important to the coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that it was there was such a, how can I say it? Everyone was so stuck in their ways as to which brands to use and which designs to use I remember I had to talk certain coffee shops, say, you need to try this. And I remember talking to Roberto saying, you need to get, it was Phil and Sebastian. I said, you got to get one of these in Phil's hands.
Yeah.
Right? And you need to send one to Alberta because Phil needs to play with this because I don't think anyone understands what developments have happened here with the grinder. But it wasn't until, I think it was like 2012, he sent one to Phil. But no one bought one until Revolver finally put one in 2013.
Yeah.
And once they did, then everyone said, oh my God, Revolver, the Giannakis boys,
Yeah.
George and John at that time, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chris, they said, wow, if they're using it, we better look into it.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now if you look at Vancouver, most of the top shops,
They have a Mythos.
they have a Mythos.
But the new Mythos is going to be out.
Oh.
It's going to be even better.
The Mythos 3.
Yeah, but it's very easy to, the clamp crusher, the adjustment, the change of the dose is very, very, very accurate.
Oh, okay, very accurate and simple.
Very simple.
Okay, so that's again. So
Simplified.
Mythos 2, but I guess people don't like to talk about. But Mythos 2, too complicated for me. So I'm sorry, I'm just not that smart.
No, but
I
I would say, but this one here, I find that when I went to last time I went to the factory and saw the Mythos, they done a fantastic job.
Okay.
The way that even the chassis, they were removable. It's easy to be accessibility to the part is very easy, very
Okay.
very easy to program.
Okay, easy to service.
Very,
Easy to program.
very easy to service.